In this video, we will provide a basic overview of EVOLVE Mutations. Mutations can be loaded as a standalone app or as a plugin for your host sequencer. Here we've loaded Mutations into Digital Performer 6. For efficient navigation, EVOLVE Mutations is organized into 4 categories: rhythmic suites, both percussive and tonal, percussive kits, stings and transitions, and tonality and effects. To load an instrument, navigate to the Library tab in the browser, which we have already done, and select one of the categories in the Instruments tab. Here we'll load the Scorefair 2 menu preset from the Rhythmic Suites folder. Rhythmic Suites presets, signified with an LPS prefix and black skin background, are made up of beat-sliced loops. The suites are key-mapped in a way to provide intuitive control over the loops. We've created the rhythmic suites with lower-range loop elements, like kick drums and big boomers, mapped to the lower register of the keyboard. These are followed by mid-range tom and snare-type loops. At the top of the keyboard range, you'll find the higher-end, wispier loops, like hi-hats and medals. Now, let's add some tonal loops to the mix by navigating to the Tonal Loops folder and opening LPS Mutonal menu in C. In this next section, you'll also notice that the tempo is dropped by 15 BPM. All of the percussive loops are broken down into slices and mapped into individual presets. You can find out more about this in the MLS tutorial video. The tonal loops are also split into combination presets and individual presets so that you can compose in any tonal center. All of the presets share a uniform user interface. For ease of use, we have provided controls for attack, decay, sustain, and release, high-pass filter, low-pass filter, and effects, including screamer, lo-fi, delay, and reverb. We have also pre-assigned MIDI CC values for easy automation for the parameters. Users also have the ability to assign their own CC values through the Contact 3 MIDI Automation tab. Here's an example of some of the loops with automated parameters. Here we will be going over the MLS and MIDI files section. MLS stands for Mapped Loop Slices, whereas all percussive loops have been beat-sliced and mapped across the keys to allow for any individual section to be able to be played on its own. Here's one loop played on the MIDI key, taken from the Percussive Loops section of Mutations. Each MLS preset is named to what key it is set to on the menu preset. So take, for example, E3. Which is MLS Scorefair menu 139. The loop in its original form is set to G0 by default and stretches from A-1 to G1. The beat slices start at A1 and extend upwards chromatically until the loop point. Now I'll find the MIDI file of the same name and simply drop that file straight into the track. The MIDI file lines up the beat slices to create the original loop. This allows for the greatest flexibility to alter the original loop by altering any of the parameters of the MIDI information itself. Here I'll show you an example of altering the parameters of the MIDI information to change the loop. You can see that each loop can be altered easily and quickly to create something new. The Percussive Kits category, signified with a perc prefix and gray skin background, is comprised of 5 different kits. These are best used as one-off hits or as elements with which to create original percussive beds. Stings and Transitions, marked with a stings prefix and red skin background, is made up of both menu and individual presets. These NKIs provide transitional elements that are great for adding punctuation and emotional impact to your track. Here we've added some stings on top of the previous percussive bed. Tonality and Effects, marked with a blue skin background, and the prefixes INST, APA, APT, or AFX, is split into 2 subcategories, melodic and pads and effects. These instruments and pads veer away from traditional sounds and provide a new, edgy feel for your mix.